that we discussed in the beginning, Arjuna's real question. Now his confusion is eliminated. He misunderstood Buddhi Yoga to be something else. So now he's asking, what is best for me? The path of renunciation of work, what a Jnani does, because they disconnect them from the body. They only understand they are the soul. They have realized the soul. Therefore, they give up material activities. They give up the body. Should I engage in should I take up to the path of detached disengagement, or should I work in devotion like what a Buddhi yogi does? So then Krishna defines what is real renunciation. Merely giving up work is not renunciation, but giving up the result of work is renunciation, right? So that is the path of Buddhi Yoga. Working in devotion is what Krishna recommended. Why? Because when one works in this mood of renunciation, giving up the result of, so when I say renunciation here, right, please always remember renunciation by default means renunciation of the fruits of work, not work. Renunciation means renunciation of the result of work, not the work itself. So what is the science of this action of result, action and renunciation? As this chapter is saying, we saw the concept of the three doers, right? And because of the false ego, one thinks one is the doer. There is a desiring doer, facilitating doer, and acting doer. But with the influence of the false ego, one thinks that, I am just willing and executing all by myself. But one fails to see the different layers in between. So that the nature of this false ego is that it makes you think that you are the ultimate enjoyer, you are the ultimate controller, and you are, that selfishness is what that is so important to you, important virtue for you. But the how to overcome this obstacle, to work in this renunciation, you in the mood of renunciation, you need equal vision, right? And that equanimity comes through knowledge and humility, right? Knowledge part we understood from the previous chapters. Humility, why it is important? Because the last covering around the soul, the false ego, if you want to eliminate that, it cannot be eliminated through intellectual approaches, but you have to genuinely develop humility, right? And how do you begin? A very simple baby step in developing humility is, humility begins with gratitude, right? Gratitude, be grateful for the things in your life. Understand that you are not the real doer. There are so many factors beyond you which are the result, which are the cause for whatever is present in our life. So beginning with gratitude, right? The attitude of gratitude, as it is said, that is the first step let's write that down also. Then what happens? Then slowly one becomes strongly situated in that stage of uh, equanimity. And then the next section, it goes to this transition from equanimity to devotion. Why devotion was important? We understood through these three levels of spiritual paths. Predominantly the Vedas talk about detachment, dispassion, and devotion. How do I understand? Am I tolerating the problem? Am I equanimous to the problem? Or I have fully accepted that problem? How does that acceptance come? Because at that stage, because I've developed that humility and I have purified my ego, I no more see myself as my enjoyer, controller, and don't let my selfishness dictate me. But I understand that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is a real enjoyer. He is a real master and controller, and he is the best friend of all. He is my ultimate soulmate. Therefore, that sense of acceptance comes. And this is the secret for uh, action in renunciation. This is how you act in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada very aptly titles this chapter as Action in Krishna Consciousness. When you act in Krishna consciousness, you are acting in devotion, and you'll be able to accept the things in your life.